Welcome everyone! Today's study is deep, I'm not gonna lie, but it is doable. It's kinda hard to give a hint that doesn't give the answer away, but if I'd have to give one, I'd say Underpromotion. Anyway, as always, it's white to play and win. Feel free to pause the video right now and try to figure this out. Now let's take a look. White's winning move is Rook to a3. White's key to victory is that B pawn, and with this move White is guaranteed to get a passed pawn. Black has to trade because if, for example, Rook takes pawn, then Rook h3 is mate. So Rook takes Rook has to be played, and Black doesn't have a lot of moves here. The best Black can hope for is a stalemate position. Going for a walk with the king makes no sense, because Black's king can never leave the h-file anyway. White's king will just follow him around and just takes all Black's pawns in the meantime. So in order to try and get a stalemate position, Black has to advance his pawns. Going for h5 or f4 makes no difference. In the time White's pawn rolls up the board, both of Black's pawns have to come down anyway. But now White's key move is coming up. After f3, only one move wins. I kinda gave it away already at the beginning. a8 equals knight. I'll show why this is the only move. If White queens, then Black simply goes h2. And as you can see, if it's Black's turn, then he has no moves, and White unfortunately cannot change that. Moving the queen makes no sense, and the only possible king move is king takes f2, but Black's king is still boxed in, the pawns can't move, so it's stalemate. Now going back here, only a8 equals knight makes sure Black isn't stalemated, because if Black now tries h2, then White has knight to b6. And now Black not only can take the knight, he has to do that, and when he does, then c7, b5, White queens, b4, again nothing else to do, and now White just takes on f2, and after b3, queen c1 is mate. So going back here, after White promotes to a knight, Black has to play the only other move he has, king to h2, but now White can always go for a winning king and pawn endgame. First, king takes pawn, king to h1, no other move. White can do this in more ways than one, let's go with knight to b6. Now let me briefly show that White shouldn't go take the c7 pawn here either, because if that pawn disappears, then there's a stalemate possibility again. After king to h1, knight takes pawn and h2, White now even has to allow the stalemate, because if the king can get out, he'll queen the h-pawn. Going back, there are again multiple ways to win. I'll just show one because the real puzzle part of the study is over anyway. White can go knight to c4, king to h1, knight to d6. Again, Black doesn't take. King to h2, knight to f5. After king to h1, check. King h2, and king takes pawn. All White has to do now is sacrifice the knight for the h-pawn. Black still tries king to g1, but after knight to e4, h2, and knight to g3, White's only available move is to promote, and when that happens, White takes, and White has an easily winning king and pawn endgame. Once again, a very nice invention by Alexey Troitsky, and there's actually a good practical advice in here as well. Always ask yourself, what if I go into a king and pawn endgame here? If it's easily winning, just go for it, you may save yourself a lot of trouble. So let me know in the comments if you managed to solve this one. If you enjoyed, please simply like the video, it's that simple. And do consider subscribing to the channel. More videos are already underway. I'll be seeing you guys again soon, and take care.